We are live. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. We are back after a week break from not doing the show because honestly, work just got to be stupid over the last week and a half. I got busy with work, day job work. I got busy with side business work, and it just has gotten to be crazy, cuckoo crazy. Good evening, Mr. Brown. Oh man, and to boot, I got a little bit of a cold going, so if I sound a little nasally-ish,
I was a little rough today myself.
that is because I have had a cold for the last couple of days. Where to start?
Where to
So
start? I've got a what did I want to talk about? What the hell? There was something that happened. Oh, I'll remember.
well, we can kick it off with some.
What about Burning Man? Did you hear about Burning Man?
What?
I
Yeah,
wanted to talk about
I
this.
got a note down there of
About
what an
Burning Man.
absolute train wreck Burning
Burning
Man
Man was.
from start to finish. So I'm sure everybody saw the video of the Nevada tribal trooper that ran into the anti-oil protesters because they were
Oh yeah,
blocking the main road going into Burning Man. And when
yeah,
somebody showed the drone footage of it, it was like traffic was backed up for like 15 miles down this road.
yeah.
And yeah, which I thought that was hilarious. I thought the guy just ramming their trailer and then proceeding to kind of rough the lady up a little bit while she was screaming at, it's a peaceful protest. Like, shut up. Nobody cares if it's a peaceful protest. It's like freaking 95 degrees outside and everybody is just sitting here stuck waiting for you jackasses to get out of the way.
Nah, man, I got drugs in the back of the truck. I got to do.
Each day for the next 20 days, someone who buys merch from Cletus will get a free Traxxas. Nice.
You got a link you can throw in there. And speaking of that, buy me a T-shirt while you're at it, Dad. Oh boy, yeah, Burning Man was a disaster. The rain and everything, and making it into a gigantic mud hole, and then everybody tried to leave. That's what killed me. Like, let's try to get out of here. They told them, don't leave, stay in place, let the mud dry, and then
Yep.
yeah, thousands of vehicles and all kinds of shit stranded all over the desert.
Oh, and the
Oh,
second
cool. Mother God, Cape Cod's got a mouth on him today. All right.
What's up, Cape Cod? Yeah, the other funny part was the ones who got so impatient of being stuck that they decided to walk out.
YouTube
Yeah.
does not like that. Hello, mother. They don't want you to say that. So I'll give you 500 points for being the first person to get censored by YouTube today.
And I'm putting it up on screen.
Oh, what happened to me?
Man, Burning Man. I never understood Burning Man. I do understand.
It's a gigantic rave, man. It's a gigantic desert rave, and it's an artist thing. And I mean,
it's a big, giant, drug-fueled party out in the desert. But why? 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 It's in the middle of the shitty desert.
Yes, it's great unless it rains.
Yeah, I mean, it's just even if it doesn't rain, it's still just out in this shitty desert. So you're gonna go out there. I mean, I've been riding in the desert for decades, and you go out there camping, it sucks. It's great because the riding is great, but it sucks to camp out there because it's the freaking desert.
I mean, there's a way to get out. There's a way to get out of that if you're actually stuck in that. You know, like if you're not a complete moron and you've got a couple 2x4s and some tarp straps, you probably get out of that.
The people who really, I mean, after you've been just throwing down every drug imaginable for a few days, you can't imagine being coherent enough to figure out how to get yourself
Well, see, and I guess the shelter in place happened on the last day of the event. And so, like, everybody was already ready to go home.
Yeah.
you know. So then they ran out of food and toiletries. Well, and that was the other thing too. The bathrooms stopped working. Better than the woods with the bugs and all. No one's camping there, Bernie. Yeah,
burning evidence and making babies. I don't know, Cape Cod. I would almost take the woods with the bugs.
Well, didn't Woodstock turn into a gigantic rainy mud mess too? I mean,
yeah, but
like
I mean,
both times. I think both, like the original Woodstock and the redone VW buses, are not good mudders.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never understood I never understood Burning Man. I never understood the draw to it. I guess they do it out so far out that nobody cares. Nobody cares what you're doing out there.
Well, yeah, you're in the middle of the desert. Nobody gives a fuck.
Nobody's going to be out there enforcing any kind of laws or
The
bothering
only people who really give a fuck are the people who come in afterwards and are upset about all the trash and shit.
Yeah, but I mean that it doesn't matter where you go. Anytime you have any kind of event like that,
Oh yeah.
Last year after the King of Hammers, there's a bunch of locals out there that were just furious and telling the Horseman Center that they don't want the King of Hammers back anymore.
Camping sucks
because
anywhere.
It takes them a week to clean up all the garbage.
I'm with that continental breakfast, RC Cape Cod, for sure.
Yeah, my idea of camping is in a motorhome with a shower, maybe even a bathtub, refrigerator.
I still go camping.
Microwave.
The last I go, like, I went to the KOA. There's a shower facility, there's washers, there's dryers, you know. Yeah, I slept in a tent, but
yeah, I gotta have a bed with like a blanket and pillows, like a regular mattress, and I'm done sleeping on the ground. And
you want me to fluff your pillow?
Yeah, I'm with Cape Cod. I'm staying in a hotel. There ain't nothing. There is no reason why I need to go camping anymore.
I didn't camp last night, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn.
Well, I mean, that's partly why our house is it was where it is, and it's why we bought this house, is because I like literally live in a campsite. There's nothing around me. There's just trees, and there's a few scattered houses here and there. There's just trees. And
well, I mean, you told me that the lady goes out to the patio and it's like Cinderella out there. The little birds land, the squirrels come up, you know?
Yep. I have issues with squirrels. There's so many squirrels around here.
Anyways, all right.
But yeah,
we've been gone for a whole week. I know we got a lot of trash to talk. I do.
Well, I gotta tell you,
I got some trash to talk.
2 weeks ago, I went to Dollywood.
Okay.
So, I mean, we moved to Tennessee. Dollywood's an hour away from us now. We lived in Southern California. We went to Disneyland like constantly and Universal Studios. But 2 years, we'd never been to Dollywood. So we decide we're going to go to Dollywood.
We're going to do this. All right.
And it's like, okay, it's only an hour drive. It's right here. Everybody says it's the best theme park in America. No, it isn't. Anybody who's watching this, who's ever heard anybody say that it is the best theme, it's the best theme park in America after Disneyland and Universal Studios Hollywood and Disney World and Epcot Center and Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom and Universal Studios Orlando and SeaWorld Orlando. Pretty much it's the best one after all of those might be Dollywood. It is not the best. It's not even close. Anybody that says that's never been to another theme park before.
I got a theme park in my backyard. I call it Bollywood.
It's nice. It's a nice place. Everything is upkept very well. It's a fun place and whatnot. But there are just little things that other theme parks have figured out that Dollywood just hasn't gotten to yet.
Mm.
So like Disneyland, Disney World, you gift yourself a fast pass.
Well, Basher Boy decided to show up.
What's happening, Basher Boy? Yeah, you can get yourself a fast pass. And that means that you don't have to sit and wait in a line for 2 hours for a ride. Just go there, you get your Knott's Berry Farm, yeah. Dollywood's below Knott's Berry Farm. Actually, I'd probably put them pretty even. But yeah, Dollywood has fast pass system. You just have to pay $60 a person for it.
Wow.
Person. So yeah,
Wow.
group family of 4 pays $80 a person for their tickets, and then they pay $60 for their front of the line pass. So essentially, you're paying $140 per person to go to Dollywood, which is actually more expensive than going to Disney World. Even with Disney World's Genie Plus Fast Pass system that you have to pay $30 a person, it's still cheaper than going to Dollywood, other than you have to get yourself to Florida.
I'm trying to think about this right now because it's like, 100, do I save that money for a base camp or do I just throw up in my mouth right now?
The nice thing is, as far as rides are concerned, Dollywood's got some bangers. They got some banger rides there. Like, I'm okay with roller coasters, and there was a couple of them when I got off, I was like, I need a moment. I need a moment to stand here and recover. That was gnarly.
You're just getting old.
But yeah, they do have some banging roller coasters, and their food is ridiculous. If you want to spend $80 a person just to go in there and eat food, it's not exactly worth it, but food is freaking good. And they got this thing, this cinnamon bread thing they said, which is basically like a cinnamon roll in like a aluminum bread tin that is pretty much the only reason why you need to go to Dollywood is to just buy that cinnamon bread. Everything else is just like every other theme park that you go to. But the cinnamon bread's freaking awesome. So anyhow, yeah, Dollywood. Nice, but kind of overpriced. And they need to figure out the layout. Crowd management is not real high on their list of things at Dollywood. They actually have their exit goes through their gift shop, which there's like 2 doors to get out of the gift shop. And thousands of people are at the end of the day are filing through these 2 doors. And yeah.
Fun is sure expensive.
Yes. Yeah, Earl.
All I can think of is Red Light District. I'm sorry. Is it just me, or is
that's not a theme park?
That's well, it's a themed park.
And you know that Amsterdam's actually changing up the Red Light District because they have too many problems there now.
Yeah.
Which doesn't surprise me because the whole of Europe is having issues with immigrants.
When you got people like, it's an RC car running around. I mean,
so RC shit.
RC shit.
There's a new SCX 24.
Oh my God! Let's not.
And a trailer.
This is so dumb. This is so not only is it ugly as hell, I'm just gonna say this 4-door Power Wagon is ugly as fuck. The trailer's kind of neat. I'm not gonna lie. The trailer's kind of neat.
What are you gonna do with a 24 scale trailer?
Well, how your 24 scale FMS is because I don't understand. I don't understand. Horizon bought FMS and Horizon own it, and it's like, so now we're gonna compete with ourselves to put out the same fucking products.
Yep, I was just saying this to Justin before the show that Horizon they're the GM of RC.
Might as well just double dip on this son of a bitch.
Yeah, you got FMS, you got Axial that compete with one another. The Viterra the Viterra company is still alive. It's not dead. They still have on their website. They still have Viterra, so it still exists. So you got those 3 companies that are all competing with one another. You got Arma and Losi, who are competing with one another in the basher realm.
Yeah,
Then you
but
have
it kind of makes sense. I mean, Losi's really more of a like a scale basher, and Arma's more of a skate park basher. I mean, I get that. I can see the difference there, but this thing, this axial, this 24 scale, I just feel is like, stop embarrassing yourself. Just
well,
stop embarrassing yourself.
wait, and here's the thing with Losi. You have Losi and you have TLR. Why
Okay,
not just let Arma absorb all the scale basher stuff of your scale basher division, Losi, and Losi just disappears. Or you take TLR and you get rid of that name and just switch it back to Losi because that's the classic name. That's the actual brand. Losi comes back, you revive it, and that's where you sell all your racing stuff. And you don't necessarily have competing brands with that, but they do it with boats, they do it with planes. They own Dynamite, they own Spectrum. Both of those companies sell the same stuff, so they're just the GM of RC. We own a bunch of stuff, we sell a bunch of stuff under different brands. Most of it's the same crap anyhow, but it doesn't really matter because the dollars all go to the same place. Tank.
the 24 scale is a low. Yeah, it is. I understand that. I get that because there's a market for 24 scale, definitely. But
And I would almost say that let FMS take over your 24th scale. If you want to keep all these brands separated and you're not trying to blur all the lines,
that's the thing I don't understand. Why does Horizon keep stepping on their dick? That's the thing I don't get. I get the 24, and they want to put it out. They want to make money, but
for every FMS that they sell, they're not selling an Axial SCX 24.
When I kind of feel
SCX 24, they're not selling an FMS 24 scale. It's like, why do you
Tank, you got to buy one. You got to buy one of everything. Don't you feel a little bit gouged? I mean, look, man, if I don't know, I just feel like I said,
ultimately that's the idea. Is Horizon
we're going to get more dollars out of you? Yeah,
they want you to spend more money, but it is it's kind of like what oh god, I can't remember his name now, the comedian, the old man.
Way to go! Way to ruin the whole topic.
I completely lost George Carlin. George Carlin used to talk about the illusion of choice. That you have the illusion of choice, where you have two banks to choose from. You have two.
Well, this goes back. We've talked about this, like the servo thing or the George Carlin. The servo thing or the bearing thing or stuff. All these companies really come from the same places. And
there's two main bearing companies in the world. There's Boca Bearing and the other guys. Pretty much everybody buys from one of those two, and that is the same bearing. Servo is the same way. There's three manufacturers of servos. Everybody's buying them from the same place. Which, speaking of servos, the Reefs Brass 500. It's not the Raw 500 because it's made out of brass.
Yeah. What about it?
Solid brass servo. Why?
Well, the only thing I can imagine is throwing it at somebody for some reason. I mean, it's like
you really want that fake gold look?
Well, it's so 90% of the time nobody ever sees your servo in the first place. I understand if it's for weight, but then it's sprung over weight. I don't know, whatever.
In most places it's relatively high unless it's a servo on axle. And then, are you really going to want to spend that much money on a shiny brass servo to put it on a servo on axle where it's going to get people out of it?
It's just like say Tank said, there's love for it, so people will buy it. There's love for brass. I mean, people love that shit. They want to have all the brass that they can on their truck for some reason. And I'm like, okay, well.
And Reefs went one step further. It's not just brass. They polished it. It's shiny brass. It's shiny like my forehead right now. Yeah, all the jewelry stores are owned by K. It's K Jewelers. I forget. There's two jewelry companies. It's K Jewelers and the guys that are always directly on the opposite corner from K Jewelers.
Is it Landstrom's?
Why a trade? I just don't. There isn't enough 24 scale stuff for a trailer.
You're still stuck on the trailers. I think the trailer is kind of. I like the way they design the trailer, but I'm just like, I'm still like, yeah, all of it's kind of like, dude, what are you guys doing right now?
Why not make that same exact trailer, but 10th scale? I mean,
well, when I first saw it, I thought it was 10 scale. I was a little disappointed because I was like, oh man.
Yeah, they're only selling that trailer for $44. So, and it's all molded plastic and all of that. So it seems like it's relatively cheap for manufacturing. If you could turn around and sell that thing for, $90, $100 in 10 scale, man, you would, I wouldn't buy one because I don't necessarily need a trailer.
Yeah, they might already have that shit planned. Either that or they're listening to us right now.
If they are, they're cursing at us. Because I have a message for you, Horizon, if you're listening.
Eat a dick.
Everything that you guys have done in the last 3 months is shit. It's just shit. And whoever it is that's making decisions for Horizon Hobby as a whole needs to be fired and replaced with someone else. The shipping thing.
Oh God!
Hey, let's do 4th of July weekend.
This Low-C Promoto thing is a debacle.
Computer system switch. That guy definitely needs to be fired, as well as everybody who was responsible for implementing that new software change. They all need to be fired. People who need to get a raise at Horizon Hobby are their customer service people. Because, damn it, if their customer service people weren't so darn polite, I would be cussing and screaming at them.
Holy crap, 6 people watching.
Kudos to Kaylee, by the way, customer service rep at Horizon, for helping me to fix the Low-C Promoto X upgrade part debacle shitfest that is Horizon. So I got one more upgraded item for my Low-C Promoto X that I haven't gotten the bike yet.
I was gonna say, you don't even have the bike.
I got one more thing for it. I got the black front wheel and tire.
Oh.
Just the front tire. Not the back tire, but I got the front one. The back one's still on back order.
Oh, that bike, dude. That bike.
Not to mention.
No, I heard people
also they also shipped me like 4 things total for the bike, of which they only ever actually charged me for 2.
Nice.
Still have only charged me for 2.
I heard people talking I was reading one of the Facebook posts, and I heard some of those guys talking about the Promoto and how they thought that the colored one was faster than the other ones. Have you heard this rumor?
It never ceases to amaze me.
And I'm like, now wait a minute.
You think colored dyed plastic is going to make it? Do you think that Low-C made 3 different versions of the same bike?
Or that they specifically tune the motors and the red ones to go faster? I'm like, nah, dude, nah.
Because they didn't even.
I love this. This is such.
It stems from the people who were, like 1-to-1 riders who were brand loyal. Like I'm a Honda guy, ride red. So I even posted a comment on there like, which one is the fastest? That's like, obviously the red one. Duh. You know that Honda won every single championship this year, which is the first time it's ever happened in motorcycle racing history. Every single championship. So obviously the red one's the fastest. And then there's the Kawasaki and the Yamaha guys. The Suzuki, Husky, KTM people, they join in because Losi and Horizon obviously knew Honda, Yamaha, and Kawasaki are the big three. Nobody else really matters. They're all slow anyhow. How about Triumph? The motorcycle company Triumph, who's been making road bikes forever, brand new 250 dirt bike.
That'd be interesting.
Didn't really come out of nowhere, but kind of a like, really, you guys are making a dirt bike now? Okay.
We'll give it a try.
It looks pretty good. They had Ricky Carmichael in the development, working on it in the development process and testing it. So I'd imagine it's going to be decent because Ricky Carmichael is, in some people's eyes, the GOAT.
Oh, where my lurkers at today?
Well,
it seems like a very quiet Wednesday.
After we can't. I canceled the show last week, so this is the punishment. We only got only half our team came back this week.
I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah.
I wanted to say I was very impressed with Tank because I saw Tank on Brad's show. I didn't know Brad went live.
I did not either.
Or maybe that was his first live ever, but I watched that. I don't mean to. No offense, Brad, but it was like watching paint dry, buddy. So I laughed. Jesus.
Well, I can imagine. I know what the subject matter of Brad's show.
Tomatoes. Tomato.
Yeah.
You know how to say it.
Tamia, Tommy, Bahama.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, great for being brand loyal. Brad is very loyal to his Tamiyas. That's
good for you, man. It's always good to help. Because I ain't helping nobody, so
they were the
one up.
They were the guys who.
I'll give Tank 1,000 points.
Yeah, another 1,000 points to Tank, because that's. I know Brad's, he's got a lot of free time, and why not do a live stream? Why not do something and hang out?
He's a good guy. Not always the easiest guy to get along with, but he's a good guy.
Yeah, but you can get people from all over the place that you wouldn't normally get to hang out with, and get to hang out with. Yeah, it's via the internet, but it's still better than like sitting at home and talking to yourself.
I'm too much of an a-hole. I'm sorry.
Or trying to have an RC conversation with your wife when she has zero interest in it.
Right. I've been there.
She was excited about the dirt bike for about 5 seconds. Wow, an RC dirt bike, that'd be really cool. Okay, next. I applaud all the guys who get their wives to be involved with their RC hobby and all that, but that is not my wife. She is not interested at all.
Yeah, I was like, good luck there. Let's see what else.
But it's also partly, you should have your own hobbies. If you do everything together with your wife,
that's a little weird.
You're gonna hate each other.
That's a little weird.
If you don't get a little time away, you will hate each other.
I didn't. Yeah. Other than what else? Other RC shows. I didn't really catch much this week. I've been kind of out of it. I've been playing a lot of Starfield.
Bam! Oh, freaking Starfield! I have been ignoring YouTube because I've been playing Starfield.
Starfield? I don't want to go off on a game tangent, but
hey, it's the shit that needs to be said show, and I had Starfield listed because I have.
All right, well, let's talk about this for a minute because this is great to me.
I have a couple of beefs with Starfield.
All right.
In typical Bethesda fashion, there is an overwhelming amount of stuff to do. And they kind of dump a whole bunch on you at the very beginning. And it's like, oh God. And it's overwhelming because you kind of like, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to do side missions? Do I want to do main mission? Well, and with Starfield, there isn't just one main mission now. There's a bunch, and all of them take a fairly significant amount of time. And yeah, it's the other beef is the freaking shipbuilding.
Right.
The shipbuilding. So, and the only real beef that I have with the shipbuilding is, you have all the modules that you can stack together and whatnot. They don't, you can't pick where the door goes. Like, I spent several hours building my ship only because I wanted to put modules in certain places, only to go in and do a walkthrough of my ship to realize there are certain sections of my ship that I can't get to because the game didn't allot for there to be a door in between these two modules. So, like, you're walking through your ship like, man, it seems like it should be bigger than this. Oh, probably because it is, because half of it is blocked off because there's no way to get there. Or they put random ladders in place. Yeah. Shipbuilding is a freaking pain in the ass.
This is funny because you're an engineer, so I got to laugh a little bit about that. So, like, but yeah, I tried shipbuilding too, and I mean, it just instantly was like, oh man, this sucks. Like, I don't know how people build a ship.
When you do it, when you get it figured out and you do it right, because basically you just kind of got to start by throwing a bunch of shit at it and getting kind of what you want, and then you walk through it and realize, okay, I gotta move this, I gotta move this, I gotta do this, and you start breaking it down, and then after a while you get it to, this is exactly what I wanted it to be in the first place. It just took me a really long time to get there. I spent probably 10 minutes creating my character face and whatnot, and I spent hours literally building the ship, of which there really isn't much of a point of even walking around in your ship. Having all the, like, I was all proud of myself, and I'm like calling my wife, like, check this out, look what I built. I can walk over here, and then I walk down over here, look at it, and she's like, This is your game. This is what you're doing. You build a ship. This is a stupid game. I was like, no, it's just a little part of the game. And then I realized I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I spent hours working on something that literally has no real purpose in the game other than you get your ship, you fly around, you blow stuff up.
Yeah.
And it takes you from place to place. But there's never a call for you to walk around inside your ship and be like, look how cool the inside of my ship is.
No, if you're if you're like a Fallout 4 or a Fallout fan, or you're a Skyrim fan and you've played Bethesda games before and you like the feel of a Bethesda game, it's got all of that.
Yep.
Okay. However, on the other end, it's got like all the bugs that a game could come with.
Now here's the difference. Justin's playing on PC. I'm playing it on console, and I can tell you there's probably just as many bugs in the console version as there is in the PC version. Because, like, last night when I was playing after work, I think I had to restart in a 2-hour period of time. I think I restarted it like 3 times because it crashed.
Okay.
And like every time when I'm playing it, there's always something wonky. Like, I went on a whole mission where when I would come back to every time I would come back to my ship, like half of it was in the ground.
Awesome.
Like,
that's a cool glitch.
Like,
I haven't seen that.
landed my ship at full speed and just embedded half
in the ground. Yeah.
And it was just a glitch.
I get one of my I'd go to travel through Lightspeed. You go to hit Lightspeed and you see the outside of the ship. One of my dudes in the cockpit would actually be on the outside of the ship, and I'm like, yeah, he's gonna survive. Totally, no problem.
I have that one happen on the inside of the ship where I'm walking through, and it's just his legs are sticking through the side of the ship.
It's always good. It's
But
always
yeah, overall, Starfield is
it's
amazing.
great. It's a great game, but it's got some problems. They need to work on it a bit.
I don't know how far you've made it through the story.
I don't even want to tell you. I don't even want to tell you because I
I'm
was
already.
surprised. I went and looked last night to see how far I was in the game, and I'm a lot farther than I thought I was. And so I was like,
have you reached the theoretical end of the main story?
no. I'm still maybe 6 or 7 missions away from the end of the main story, but I've done so many of the side quests.
But you run into the Starborn.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I've been all the way through the end of the official game, and then cycled back around.
That's the best way. That I hear that's the best gameplay is once you finish and then you come back and play again.
And I'll give you a little tidbit, which is the main storyline of the game will never end. It is a perpetual cycle that you can go through with the final mission. You can literally just keep going, get to the end, you go back to the beginning. Get to the end, go back to the beginning. Where you're not actually starting a new game. You know, you go through, you do a playthrough, and you get to the end of the story, and the game is over, and then you continue on. That's how this game works, except you kind of go almost back to the very beginning when it restarts, where everything that you've done, you get to redo it. Side missions, except you get to keep a whole bunch of stuff when it's weird. It's a really interesting.
Have you never played a Game Plus RPG before, where you beat it and you go back? Okay.
Yeah, but this one has an added twist to it.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Because you have the ability.
Don't give it away from you. I haven't hit the end.
Yeah, you get the Game Plus, but you can go back to the beginning and go through everything, or you can fast forward all the way to the end again, and then Game Plus again, fast forward again, and Game Plus again, and go fast forward and Game Plus again, because each time you go through that thing, something changes.
Oh, crazy! That'll be interesting.
And it appears that there are you can do it over and over and over again. I have seen a couple of people who posted videos about it where they have done it and go through and look at what's changed. And they're like, hey, man, I've been through this 100 times and it's different. Something's different every single time. Bethesda was thinking there's going to be people who are going to obsess over this. Okay, how many times can I do this? They're a lot. And some of the replaythroughs are bizarre, from what I understand. They have some really weird twists that they throw in. One of the twists is so bizarre. Once you get there, you'll be there by next week.
I'm done with the show. I'm going back to Starfield. I'll see you guys later. Jesus.
But the sheer magnitude of this game is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
I have just specifically spent hours where I've just flown from planet to planet to planet to planet to just explore. And I've seen where people have said, oh, no, you can't explore the entire planet. You run for a while and then you run into the end where there's a visible wall. But actually what it is when you land, it makes a 2 square kilometer area that you can run around and explore. That's not the whole planet though. Then you have to leave and pick another landing spot and land there, and it'll give you a new 2 kilometer square. So you can explore the entire planet. You just can't because imagine how long it would take you to run around the planet Earth on foot.
No, Forrest Gump did it.
So you would You would get
Wait,
to a
no,
point
he just
where
ran across America. He didn't run across the earth, did he? Huh?
yeah, but the cool part is the all the different gravities. You know, they put a lot of thought
Yeah,
into
no,
it.
no. Like you said, the game's really good. It's just there's still some of it that needs work, though. I'm interested to see where it's gonna go, though. Oh, what else we got on your list?
Did you by any chance do any part with the Crimson Fleet?
Yes.
Okay. I like the Crimson Fleet because you have two ways you can go about that. You can be on the pirate side or you can be on the UC SysDef side.
I played Def.
And
Next time I'll play Fleet.
it the pirate side, if you played the pirate side, that one's pretty awesome because all the shit that you get to do. Now when you when you do the fleet side of it, there are different missions that you get to get to that final point
Right.
And that is crazy because it deals with the aliens.
The aliens, yes.
The aliens. So anyhow, there we go. We got a bit of Starfield chat in there. Oh yeah, you know what? We had 9/11 was Monday, and I was quite entertained with the posts of all the conspiracy theories and the commemorations, and then obviously the big one, which was Joe Biden didn't bother to go anywhere near New York or Washington, D.C. or Pennsylvania. I think he was in Alaska, the farthest point he could be away. And then, like, to kick off the whole ceremony, he, like, cracked a joke. Like, dude, every other day during the year, it would be acceptable. But 9/11,
That's like 9/11 times 1,000.
yeah. And then on top of that,
which would be 91,000. Anyway. Okay. Sorry.
Team America, fuck yeah. Still one of the funniest movies of all time.
I couldn't help myself.
No, I'm not going to ask you to do anything kinky, Gary. Now suck my cock.
Oh God, we went there.
It's not about sex, Gary. Yeah, those two guys. Did you know that they bought and have refurbished Casa Bonita?
Yes.
And that they spent like $41 million because it was in such disarray that they basically had to rebuild everything and redo everything about it. But kudos to those two guys for being committed to to restoring Casa Bonita, because that was Cartman's favorite place in the whole world.
So do you want to talk about YouTube sucking for a bit?
Ugh. Now, I have been investigating ways to live stream on other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, Rumble. Now, none of the major StreamYard, Zoom, the other one that I can't remember the name of, they don't do Rumble. You can't, like StreamYard is real easy. You just click on your YouTube account and here we are.
Right.
It's a live show. It's great. Can't do that with Rumble. Rumble would be my first choice because Rumble doesn't give a shit. They don't give a shit what you say. They don't care. And they won't censor you. They won't, they have no, like, their community guidelines are no snuff films, no porn. Other than that, you're good to go. Kind of what YouTube used to be. But I've heard rumblings from a lot of YouTube people. Views are down. that they the shorts have broken the algorithm now so bad that
We just need to ask people for money, I think.
well, and that's the other part. YouTube is, I think it started July 1st was when they changed the payout schedule again for creators. And they said, but the good thing is now we've added super thanks. So now somebody can just watch your video and send you $5. That's how you
What?
can make more money. Or you can have memberships, have people that have more. So in order to make the same amount of money that I was 5 years ago, I got to ask people to sign up for memberships. I got to ask people to send me money. And then I have to work harder because now I have to make content for my members only on top of the content for everybody else. Because if you don't make content for everybody else, then nobody else is going to find your channel other than your members. So
I can't tell if I'm high or my brain just exploded.
But on top of that, YouTube is bragging every quarter about record profits. Yeah, what? The people who created YouTube, your creators, your independent creators, I mean, the me, the Justins, the Tanks, JM, the Cape Cod, the Earl Moorheads, the Harleys, the Matts, Good Mythical Morning, for Kevin Talbot, Sparks.
As I was so pointed out, Sparks, Mr. Sparks.
The independent creators, just normal people making videos and posting them up on YouTube that get enough people following them that they get monetized and they can make some small amount of money with their YouTube channel. And they, for the most part, small YouTube creators have been very loyal to the platform and been cranking content out and spitting it out left and right. And YouTube has grown and making all kinds of money, and they're all happy, and their parent company is all happy. But they just keep taking more and more away from all of these small independent creators, primarily because the reality is big media money has come in and realized I have the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. I'm NBC. I have the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. They get, 15, 20 million people a night watching that show 5 nights a week. And we pay all this money, advertisers pay all this money to have their commercials go on there. Well, NBC figures out, hey, if we make a bunch of 30-second clips.
Brian.
Nice. Hey, look, Edmund, we're $1 closer to the 5 million.
Oh my God.
But if you're NBC and you say, man, if we make a bunch of 30-second clips,
get back to that,
and we post that on our YouTube channel, and we make it the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show clip YouTube channel, and we take, one of our editors from the TV show and we switch him over to make him the YouTube editor, and he just makes all the YouTube content. And now we have millions of subscribers to our YouTube account because everybody's going to subscribe to that because it's Jimmy Fallon clips. Why not? Well, now those 30-second clips that they're making, they're getting 5 million, 10 million, 15 million views. And NBC goes, hey, last year we produced like 200 videos for our YouTube channel that made $6.8 million. Like, we literally paid one guy to sit over here Monday through Friday, and that one guy made $6.8 million. We're going to make like 6 or 7 YouTube channels, and we're going to have 6 or 7 people doing this. Well, now YouTube has become, NBC Universal has like 15 different YouTube channels. ABC, CBS, CNN, Fox News, everybody joined in. Mm-hmm. Now you have all of these people who have millions of subscribers, getting millions of views, raking in all of this ad revenue through YouTube. They're already making tons of ad revenue. because they have TV studios, cable TV, network TV. They're making all this money. Now they're over here on YouTube making all this side money. Like, this YouTube deal's pretty freaking nice, man. It's pretty freaking sweet. We're making a shitload of money here, and we can see why all these YouTube people love this. Well, YouTube is looking at this going, this is what caused adpocalypse. Holy shit. These guys are taking millions of dollars out of our pool in ad revenue because they're smoking every other YouTube channel. Yeah, we had like 5 or 6 guys that had, 50 million, 100 million subscribers, and they're making, $3 or $4 million a year. Whoop-de-doo. Now I have 10 network studios that have 40 channels apiece making $10 million a year off of us. Shit. Well, sorry, little guys. Sucks to be you. Those videos that you do that make 500 views, you're getting paid peanuts for that shit because we got to pay the big guys the big money because that's where all the ad revenue is coming in. People are going to pay money to watch Jimmy, to put their ads in Jimmy Fallon 30-second clips. They don't want to pay ad money to put it in Sticky's RC, goofy ass RC video that 150 people will watch. They generate no money. So, hey, sucks to be you.
You just made a chicken nugget today. That's all I could think of. That skit with Jack Black where he's ordering food and he's like, you take one of them nuggets and you should right up your ass.
Yeah. Yes, the old Living Color skit with Chris Rock. How much for the ribs? $3.99. Okay. How much for a rib? $3.99. No, just one rib. I'm not going to sell you one rib. Come on, man. I don't have $3.99. How much for one rib? How about I just pay you and you let me lick the barbecue sauce on? You could never make In Living Color today. They could never make that show today. It would get canceled. But halfway through the pilot, while the executive was watching, like, nope, can't do it. Can't put this on TV. People will freak the hell out. Oh. You know what? I learned something.
What did you learn?
I'm fascinated by this. So, do you know how all of these like drug cartels and mafia guys, do you know how they're cleaning their money now? Because money laundering is like an ever evolving thing because they figure out how to clean their money, and then the feds figure it out, and then they stop that from happening.
I just washing machine. What?
So remember Lethal Weapon and Joe Pesci, explained that you go to the bank, you take out a loan, and but you're not really taking out the loan because the money's going into the bank, but you take the loan out and it's clean. And then you get to write the interest payments off in your taxes every year, but the money's technically clean. So here's the new way that they've figured out how to clean their money. So you go all over like New York City, London, San Francisco, penthouse suites, penthouse apartments. Penthouse apartment in New York City 2 months ago just sold for $120 million.
Oof.
3,500 square foot penthouse apartment in New York City. Guy paid cash for it.
That's not a warning sign, right? That's not a warning sign.
Paid cash. Okay, well, not like walked in with briefcases full of cash, but with like an electronic wire transfer.
Well, that would make more sense. I mean, at least that's something.
So that electronic wire transfer comes from an offshore bank account.
Oh, here we go.
It's not clean money. They know it's not clean money, but there's nothing they can do because technically it's just money getting transferred in from the bank. So drug cartel guy now owns this $100 million apartment in New York. Doesn't move into it, doesn't do anything with it, just lets it sit. Drug guy goes to the bank and takes a loan out uses that property as collateral. Take the $100 million that you get out of the bank and then go invest that into stocks and bonds and whatever you want, other real estate and whatnot. That money is now clean, and that piece of property is the collateral for that bank loan, which he never intends to pay back. Bank gets the property, bank gets to repo the property, then post it up and sell it again.
Oh boy.
Hey,
this is like, raffling a rig, but then donating it back so we can raffle it off again.
Or just letting one of your people win the raffle.
Oh, shit.
Just one of your people win the raffle, so you don't have to bother donating it back. They just quietly, and then a year later or so, maybe you just raffle it off again. Same yeah, I thought that was really interesting that it's money laundering is so easy. It's so easy to clean dirty money. Because I've always thought, like, yeah, man, if I'm a drug dealer and I'm selling $10 million a year in cocaine, where do I put the $10 million? How do I could just, like, cut a hole in my wall and start stuffing my walls with it. And then just whenever I go anywhere, I just pay everything with cash. I want to go buy a new truck, I just go to the dealership and I pay cash for it. Hey, here you go, $80,000 in cash. And I drive off of my new truck. But it never occurred to me, like, yeah, what if you wanted to buy a house? Yeah, if you walk into real estate, houses up for sale, and you're like, man, I really like this house. Here's a briefcase full of cash. I'll buy it. People are going to be like, no, I'm not taking your drug money, dude. And I started kind of looking around, and it's fairly easy to find this information. And it's like, man, look at this.
Oh, that's an interesting theory. Oh boy.
Laundering their money. That is, man. BlackRock and Vanguard is what they're doing with buying houses is so freaking shady. And I will once again tell everybody, go to the World Economic Forum's website.
I'm going to stop you right here real quick because YouTube does not want you talking about that either.
Did they block that out? You can't say BlackRock on YouTube. BlackRock owns a part of Alphabet. They're a huge investor. So does Vanguard. But the way they've been buying up properties, and if you go to the World Economic Forum and you look at Agenda 2030, it explains, things like Klaus Schwab saying you'll own nothing and you'll like it. In 2019 and 2020, I think it was something like 12% of all home purchases in the United States was by BlackRock and Vanguard. And that's a huge number for an investment firm to be buying up private single-family homes, not apartment buildings, not condos. These are single-family homes in residential neighborhoods that they're buying up and then turning around and leasing out. And the idea is that if you buy enough of that property up, and if you keep this going, if they're doing 10 to 12% every single year, imagine in a couple of decades, they'll own almost everything. And you won't be able to buy a house from them. They're not going to sell it to you. I'll lease it to you, I'll rent it to you, but you can't buy it.
Right.
Now you're going to be running around like, well, I don't want to rent. I want to, I want the American dream. I want to buy my house. Sorry. We're going to get to a point where people that own their houses are going to be like, no, hell no. I'm not selling because I'm not going to be able to buy another house. It'll be impossible. Right. Not to mention the Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, they want people to like eat babies and freaking crickets and all kinds of weird shit. That guy's as close to a Bond villain
baby
as you
crickets?
Huh?
Baby crickets?
They want, crickets is a big. They're making cricket a big thing. Cricket flour, and see, I've always kind of like gone along with like the Japanese, where like crickets are good luck. Like I don't kill crickets. I just let them do their cricket stuff all over the place because cricket's supposed to be good luck. And here these guys are like grinding them up, making flour out of them. Like, dude, I don't. I mean, if there's something about a whole cosmic universe and all of that crap and karma and all of that, if crickets are good luck and you're grinding them up into flour and people are eating that shit, I'm just saying, what if that leads to several lifetimes of bad luck for your family and generations to come because you jumped on board with, I love crickets. They taste delicious. Cricket flour is great. And it's gluten-free. So I don't have diarrhea.
Cricket flour is great. Fucking hilarious.
I also saw a game show in, I believe it was Denmark, where it's one of these cooking chef show things where the guy makes a dish and then they get like a couple random people to sit out there and test it.
All right.
Homie cooked human flesh.
Oh boy.
In the dish. And
how was he able to do that?
I have no idea how, but they gave it to these people to eat. These people ate it without knowing.
Oh wow.
There was human in there. And one lady freaked the hell out.
Oh yeah.
She freaked out and walked off. Like, this is not okay. This is so not okay. I am suing the shit out of somebody for this as she's like marching out of. But I was like, what even possesses you, Jeffrey Dahmer? To freaking. But the fact that they put it on television, I don't know, shit's scary. It's like this New Mexico governor lady.
I mean, I would be hard pressed, I have to admit, to have to eat another person. It'd be one of those Donner Pass things, to be quite frank with you. But have you ever been around well, I think we've talked about this. A body that's been burnt badly, or even somebody who got burnt badly. It smells like bacon.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
I imagine
absolutely.
As much as I hate to say it, I imagine we probably taste pretty good, but
for the most part, we're probably fairly lean. But I would venture to say that human meat's probably going to be gamey, because like the inside of us doesn't smell good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We don't smell good on the inside. Like when you cut open a cow or a deer, there isn't much of a smell, or even a pig. There isn't much of a smell. There's some smell, but there isn't much. But a human smells like shit. So that is going to seep into all of the muscle and tissue and everything. There's probably, I don't know if anybody's ever had bison.
Yes.
Bison are pretty stinky animals on the inside. And when you bite into a piece of bison, you're kind of like, whoa, that's different. That's a different kind of meat. It's not normal meat. It's not beef or chicken. It's strong.
I've totally fooled people with that working in the tourist restaurants before. We've run out of bison burgers and I've just sold regular hamburgers and people are like, oh, that's the best I've ever had. And I'm like, yeah, right. Please, pay an extra $1 for that burger.
I can imagine if you went the other way, people would probably be like, this is a weird tasting cow.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you don't go the other way with it.
From bison to cow meat, you're okay.
You can charge an extra $1 for a hamburger. You can't dip down on bison.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the cost project. Yeah, that doesn't look good.
What is it? Oh, yeah.
Nothing from chat. Chat has been silent. I think we killed. I don't know what the hell happened. This week just feels off. Does it feel
Yeah,
off?
it is. It's like I said, we're off for a week. We come back. Everybody is, you know.
We're not trying to mimic Operation 11 Charlie. We promise. It's not.
And I'll say, oh yeah, COVID is back. By the way, we're all gonna have to start wearing masks again. That's.
I thought we talked about this last time too.
I can't believe they're even trying this shit again.
And when you're done, put it in a bottle.
Yeah, the Fox 5 guy, I saw the video clip of this guy explaining how he's had 6 COVID shots. He's had COVID 3 times. He's had 6 shots. He's getting ready to do his 7th shot. And he's like all excited about it. Yeah, dude, if you think about it, you've had 6 vaccinations in 2 years, and you still got what it is you're vaccinated against. And you're excited about getting the 7th shot. There's something wrong with you people. So dry, you drink 3 glasses of water.
Typically, yes.
I have never tried buffalo.
It's very, 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 very lean. You have to be careful how you cook it.
I've never tried buffalo.
RC propaganda in the house.
What's happening, propaganda? I've tried a bunch of stuff. I've had squirrel. I refused to try possum, although somebody did offer me possum, but I just
alligator.
I've had alligator, and what they say about alligator is sort of true. It kind of tastes like chicken, but it tastes like fishy chicken.
Yeah, it's fishy chicken.
I don't know how to explain it better than it just tastes like fishy. It tastes like a chicken that's
like a chicken that swam in the lake. Yeah.
Swim around in a swamp. Like, what have you been doing, chicken? Speaking of alligators, they found someone let their pet alligator loose somewhere around Chattanooga, Tennessee. Now, there are technically no alligators in Tennessee. There have been rumors for years that alligators have been migrating north. But somebody let their pet alligator loose, and they caught it in Chattanooga. And this thing was like a good 6 or 7 feet long. And I just, if you have a pet alligator, what's wrong with you? What do you do with a pet alligator?
I play Truth or Dare with it.
If you have like a pet monitor lizard or you have a pet snake, I get that. But an alligator, there's literally, like you can't train an alligator not to want to, bite your arm off whenever it gets the opportunity. Like a lizard or a snake, you can acclimate it if it's young enough. You can play with it, and they're like hang out.
Well, that doesn't mean it won't bite you. I mean, that doesn't mean
it might bite you, but it doesn't have the potential to grow up to be like 10 feet long and literally eat you in a couple of bites. But what possesses you to have an alligator as a pet? But then when that alligator gets big enough, you're like, oh shit! Like I can't keep this thing in a friggin' in an aquarium anymore. What am I going to do with it? It's probably illegal. So what am I going to? Hey, you know what? I'm just going to take it down the river, dump it in the river. 5 years later, when that thing's 14 foot long, and some poor guy's sitting on the bank, drinking a beer, fishing and whatnot, having a good old day, not expecting there to be an alligator in Tennessee, and his leg gets ripped off. Sir, what happened? Freaking alligator took my leg. Bullshit.
Yeah, there ain't no alligator.
How many beers did you have? How much moonshine were you drinking? No, man, really, fucking alligator took my leg off.
Look, sir,
I remember in San Bernardino, California, the same thing happened. It was like a little community that had like a little community lake kind of thing in it, and somebody released an alligator in there. And that alligator lived in there for years because they couldn't catch it until it eventually grew up to where it was like 12 or 13 feet long, and they had to catch it because it was literally dangerous to have there. Uh, uh,
Yeah, Earl's giving me shit.
You might have finished the game.
He's giving me shit.
And,
It's funny.
Like the state of Florida is being overrun by pythons because so many people bought pythons down there, not realizing that a python can grow to 16 or 17 feet and be this big around, and it can literally kill you and eat you in your sleep. They get the shit scared out of them, and they just open the door and let the thing go out.
You know, and it's not like they won't bite. I mean, they're not like super poisonous or anything. I mean,
they do bite.
They do bite.
It a punch.
Well, it hurts. I mean, the thing about it is what I watched a guy pick one up in his yard, and it got all pissed. He picked it up by the tail in his yard and thought he was a regular snake wrangler. Well, he got bit.
Yeah.
Oh, your stream was behind? Oh my God! I wonder how far behind it was.
He was in the past. Earl hopped in his DeLorean.
Were you at the Starfield part? I thought you were talking about me and the alligator playing Truth or Dare.
Hey, by the way, kudos Earl. He got his bike up to like 62 miles an hour now.
No shit, huh?
That thing's literally screaming now. I haven't seen anybody else doing speed runs with their motorcycle yet. Earl's crushing it. Earl's been the one doing the best videos out of anybody on YouTube about the motorcycle, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, because we're so fucking humble here. You're hanging out with the goddamn showboat.
Yeah, the showboat.
The showboat.
Oh yeah, I mentioned this before the show. Like, Proline's got some. They've got some actual oil-filled shocks for your 24th scale and 18th scale rigs now. So for 40 or 40, 45, or 50, and you got yourself some Proline big bore 24 scale shocks.
Ooh.
Like it's 70 now. Damn.
You know, I'll be honest. I've bought Proline shocks before. I don't know as if they're any better than anything else necessarily.
I have a set of the Prolines on my Capra. When I rebuilt the Capra, I went like, woo, I'm going to get the Proline Pro Scaler. I would buy I would, if I had to do all over again, I would buy the SSD shocks. They're a little more scale. I mean, if I'm not worried about scale looks or whatnot, I'm getting Traxxas or Element. But if I want something that's scale, I get those SSD shocks all day long. They're cheap as hell, and I've not had a single issue with those shocks on that truck. Never leaked, never had problems with them. And they're half the price of Proline.
Huh.
Because, yeah, the 10th scale Prolines are freaking $68 for two. So, yeah, my Capra's got $120 in freaking shocks on it. Which my Capra's worth it. I'd say that much.
I'm not saying shit.
My Capra is worth every penny that I have put into that rig because I have gotten more than my money's worth out of that car. And it's been quite enjoyable. Quite an enjoyable rig. It every time you take it out, it makes me it makes me go, damn, I didn't think it was going to make that. And it'll make something.
I made something once.
The did I mention the New Mexico governor like banned guns?
No.
Yeah. She banned guns in Albuquerque. So they've had some gun violence in Albuquerque. So she just decides to tell everybody, like, oh, yeah, you can't have guns now.
Good luck there.
Not according to the Constitution of the United States, but she doubled down on it and went on television and said, I'm the one who determines what's constitutional or not. No, you learned that in high school civics. That's not your job. There's a whole group of people now in that 3 parts of government. There's a whole group of people over there that are judges. They're the ones that decide that. What? I mean.
Oh, hey, Earl, if you're going to buy a Cletus shirt, make sure to get me one too, huh? Just saying.
Gosh, my batch.
2XL. I'm a fat boy.
Yeah, X-Max is still the king of bashers. There still hasn't been anybody that has made anything that can match the X-Max for its.
I won't ask you for money here on the show, but I don't have enough pride to not ask you for a Cletus shirt. That's it.
Cletus had the race at Bristol. I can't imagine how much that guy spends on Crown Victorias. And I didn't know that there were that many Crown Victorias left around that he could keep buying them every year to do the race every year.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
And he wads 2 or 3 of those things up every year. I don't know who the guy is.
There's still a ton of Crown Vics out there somewhere, you know.
I would imagine. I mean, they were police cars. The sheriff said he won't enforce it. Now the Attorney General of New Mexico has said, I won't defend the governor against all the lawsuits that are coming, by the way.
Whoops.
Because there are lawsuits coming. Yeah. Fucking, like.
Well, and that's just it. I mean, just think about that at yourself. Like, you know, there are some places in New Mexico that are pretty remote for that matter. I mean, not just Albuquerque, but yeah. Like we talk about Albuquerque, how big is Albuquerque, New Mexico? Because I don't even think it's all that big.
Well, and it's not even. I mean, it's not even the fact that Chicago has way worse gun violence than Albuquerque, and not even the Looney Tune mayor of Chicago, Beetlejuice, even ever uttered those words like "I'm banning guns."
Right.
Like the day after that lady said all that shit in Albuquerque, like 100 dudes showed up to the state capitol protesting while carrying their guns around with them. Like, yeah, go ahead. By the way, the founding fathers warned us about people like you. You're the one they wrote the Constitution for. They're fucking Queen George.
I mean, I know it's important, but
I mean, make no mistake, the Second Amendment wasn't to protect people's rights to have guns so they could go hunting and target shooting. It was meant in case the government got too big and full of itself that the people of this country could stand up and go, nah, you're not in power anymore. And if we have to, we'll use the guns to take you out of power if you don't just walk away. That's the point of the Second Amendment. Now, there's another part in the Constitution that basically explains that if the people get pissed off enough and are tired enough of the government and government overreach, we can just simply kick all of you people out by force if necessary. That's our right given to us in the Constitution. The whole January 6th thing, like, oh, insurrection, coup, blah, 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 that they're talking about. You're dangerously treading on another constitutional issue.
Yeah, you don't shoot fish anyways, Earl. You got to use sticks of dynamite. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. Guns are useless with fish.
You drop a stick of dynamite in that water?
Hand grenades and sticks of dynamite.
Yeah, Yeah, yeah. And then that shit just blows up and right into the boat. Just look, fish and all kinds of other shit, but fish.
It's one of the greatest stories my dad ever told me was about a guy in Upper Michigan that lived on a lake. And little old man lived in a little house. His wife had passed away, and he just lived out on this lake, far away from everybody. And that's how he fished. He fished by lobbing hand grenades in the water. Hey man, I got food for the next 2 weeks.
Go to hell, you commie fish.
I can open carry fishing in California. Ran out of bears years ago. Yeah. Earl, I shit you not. Like the first weekend that we were in Tennessee, we went to this little town called Jonesboro. It's actually the first town established in Tennessee, is Jonesboro. And in this little main street town of Jonesboro, there's this little old man that has a saddle shop and a leather, and he makes handmade saddles. And we're walking down the street like, man, look how cool this is, like history. And homie walks out of his leather store with his gun belt and his Colt Peacemaker right on his side. How you doing? Pretty good, man. How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Good for you. Like, you're kind of a crazy old man. You'd like walk around with an 1800 Colt Peacemaker, wired Earp, walking down the street here. But then I realized everybody in Tennessee walks around with their gun because you don't have to have a permit to open carry here. So you just walk around with your gun on. You know what doesn't happen in Tennessee very often? Crazy people shooting people. I mean, it does happen. People get shot, obviously, in Tennessee, but what do you know?
Speaking of being shot,
you walk into a convenience store to rob the convenience store and you pull your gun out. Hey, give me all your money. There might be 10 people standing there going, nope, not going to happen today, buddy.
Jesse Baker and Green Frog joined us.
Hey, likely difficult to keep up with the Joneses in Jonesboro. 500 points to Green Frog for that little zinger. And Jesse, good to see you, man. See you. We've been on long enough now. There's some people back in. They realize, oh, hey, Rich didn't cancel the show this week. Like a jackass.
They just blame me, anyways. It just be like, hey,
yeah, that's true. Because it doesn't matter what I do. I don't get blamed for anything.
That's right.
I can do whatever I want, and nobody's
gonna be like Rich is nobody's gonna be like Rich is the bad guy. Everybody's like that. Everybody knows that JB's the asshole here. So.
Oh, I had another one that I didn't even write this one down, and I wanted to, and I forgot. The campaign finance is going to become an issue for next year's election cycle, because several people have figured out and are talking about it publicly how the government launders its money.
Oh boy.
Congress people, how they launder their money. This one's fantastic, because this is way more convoluted than, hey man, I'm just going to buy this property and wire transfer you the money, and then I'm just going to take a loan out, and hey, my money's clean. Woohoo! I got 14 Lamborghinis. No, so your campaign, your candidate Bob, you run a campaign, and you're only allowed to take so much money in donations to your campaign.
Right.
So like, a company can't just come in and go, hey man, I'm Elon Musk. I have $200 billion trillion. Here's $1 billion for your campaign.
The thought is you're not supposed to be able to be bought out. Yeah.
Campaign finance law says you can only donate so much money. But when it comes to PACs and super PACs, there is no limit to how much money you can donate to them. Also, they don't have to tell anybody where the money comes from. Now, candidate Bob can't be directly involved with PACs or super PACs. He has to be he's over here in his own campaign, taking his campaign money, donations. But PACs and super PACs are allowed to donate larger chunks of money to campaigns. PACs, super PACs are also allowed to do things like host events, pay for commercials and things like that, and yada yada, all the stuff that normally happens in a political campaign. So, candidate Bob,
Jesse,
yeah, open carry in Michigan for now.
What you got?
Whitmer's gonna shut that down as soon as she can. Because has anybody noticed that Governor Whitmer looks like Caitlyn Jenner?
No, I don't think I've ever put that together, but that's hilarious.
She does. She what?
What?
Never seen them at the same party twice.
Fuck. It's like Batman.
Possible that Caitlyn Jenner is actually governor, or
where did Jenner go?
So anyhow, candidate Bob goes to his local constituents. His local constituents are like, "Hey, candidate Bob, I got this 501c3 over here. It's anal beads 501c3, and I really need, to be funded by the government.
It's a pretty important
funding.
Shove something on my ass."
So candidate Bob goes, "You know what, man, you're right. How much do you need?" "Well, you know what, Bob? We need $100 million. "Shit, $100 million? Yep, $100 million. "Okay, I will, when I get elected, I'll get you your $100 million. All you have to do is donate to my campaign and to my PAC and to my super PAC." Money gets donated to the PAC, to the super PAC. Things get turned up. Candidate Bob, while he's campaigning, depending on how big his campaign is, he might be getting millions of dollars in campaign money. Candidate Bob is spending his own money on stuff, all kinds of stuff. Like, I got to stop at the convenience store, get me a cup of coffee, and while I'm in there, I got to buy 14,000 cups of coffee for all the people that are traveling with me. Candidate Bob gets all these things refunded to him because that's how campaign finance. If you fund your own campaign, you can get all of that money returned to you. So it gets returned to you. When candidate Bob gets into Congress, he gets elected. Woohoo! We're going to do an omnibus spending bill. We're going to throw out $1 trillion in this bill. Every candidate has, or now every congressman now has like 50 people. Like, anal beads 501c3, he needs $100 million. I need to put that $100 million in this omnibus spending bill. Okay, got it. Now all these Congress people all get together, put in their $100 million, whatnot. Next thing you know, you got $1 trillion spending bill. Most of it is being spent on crap like this. Bill goes through, he gets passed, everybody, they argue about it, but it ultimately gets passed. Anal Beads 501c3 gets a call from candidate Bob. "Hey, guess what? You got your $100 million. President of Anal Beads 501c3 is, "Man, that is freaking amazing and totally awesome and totally bitchin'. Thank you. Guess what? I just donated $20 million to your super PAC." "Well, thank you very much." Now, super PAC is now a lobbying. Super PAC now goes into the congressional building and says, "Hey, man, we really need to get this law passed, this law passed, this law passed. We need to get this money attributed out here. And here's a little bit on the side." Because lobbyists are allowed to give gifts and free gifts and all kinds of shit like that. They're allowed to do this because of campaign finance laws. And that money that was given by 501c3 anal beads goes to the super PAC, then gets in the pocket of the congressman, which is now full circle. Taxpayers' money has gone all the way around. It ended up, part of which has gone into candidate Bob's pockets. The tricky part is the PAC and the super PAC, those are both run by Bob's uncle, Bob's cousin, who are running those PACs. Were paying themselves exorbitant salaries, maybe $20-30 million a year to run these super PACs.
Oh yeah, the actual job itself is shit. The actual job itself don't pay shit. No, there's no money.
Congressman Bob stays in Congress for 10 years, gets paid his normal salary, gets little kickbacks here and there. Free trip to Hawaii here, free trip to that. Candidate Bob retires from Congress. Got the best health care plan you can possibly imagine, the best retirement you can possibly imagine. He also gets now access to the trust that his uncle and his cousin set up through the super PACs. This is how Joe Biden became a millionaire after being a senator for 50 years, making roughly $250,000 a year. All of that money, and this is just taxpayer money that goes through this whole system of circulating around and running, and everybody's getting a piece of this pie. Military industrial complex, McDonnell Douglas, Raytheon, these guys, Raytheon goes to the military and goes, hey man, we got this bitchin' idea. Listen to this. We're going to do a wingless plane powered by a rocket that we're going to put some explosives in the tip.
Wait.
We're going to fly this plane, unmanned, by the way. We're going to fly this plane to the other side of the planet, and we're going to crash it into this group of people, and it will kill all of them. And the military goes, holy shit, what a great idea. What do you need to develop this awesome idea? It's pilotless, and it will destroy our enemies without risking the lives of any of our people. This is amazing. What do you need? Well, we need $100 million to research and develop this new wingless plane. Psh, got it.
Wait, it flushes backwards. I got to interrupt you because everything that Jesse said about Michigan and the Freemasons there, which I think is pretty goddamn interesting, did not get put into the YouTube chat at all. They blocked. So I'm giving 1,000 points to Jesse right now.
Independent. It's I got to catch up here. That was kind of ranting.
It's all right. Yeah, and I know Green Frog threw a lot at us.
Yeah, unlimited sums from corporations, unions, associations, and individuals then spend unlimited sums to overtly advocate for or against political candidates. And it's 100% legal.
Yeah, they're allowed to do
it. Michigan is a Republican. And because Jesse, the reason why, and I can't put that up, is because we are not allowed to talk about stolen events.
Oh, that's right.
We actually had a whole video taken down because I went on a rant about 2020.
Yeah. We can't talk about what happens to votes after you vote, whether or not what I can't talk about voting, kind of.
What I'm blaming the Freemasons. So, and here's Sean talking about Mitch McConnell with the student loans. You know that the amount of student loans that we have right now is more than all of the student loan amounts from 1970 and before combined. And part of the reason is we have allowed the business of colleges to happen. Student tuition is ridiculously expensive. There are way too many courses and degrees being offered. There's absolutely zero reason why there's something like 67 state universities in the United States that offer up I want to say it's like art history master's degrees. How many art history how many art history professors does this country need? You know, in a given year, maybe three retire. So there's three openings. If you got 500 students that graduate with an art history major, you can't do anything else with that. You get out of school with an art history major, you're like, well, I'm gonna. Oh shit, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna work at freaking Subway because that's the only job I can get with this lame ass degree. Lame. It's a dumb degree. And we've also pointed out to kids for the last 40 years
Would hold their breath.
that don't don't go into trades, don't become an engineer, don't become a biologist, don't become a chemist, because those jobs are stupid. You want to be a CEO. You want this.
Fucking Earl figured me out. I had a bachelor's in finger painting, and now I do music video.
I wish people waiting for their student loans to be paid off. Yeah, I do too. Quite frankly, I went to school. I paid my student loans off. I worked my ass off to pay my student loans off. My older stepdaughter worked her ass off to pay her student loans off.
I would like to think that most people do.
It pisses me off that anybody in Washington would even offer that. That is, kids nowadays are irresponsible enough, and they're apathetic and don't give a shit enough. Look at the mobs and the bullshit that teenagers are doing now. Kids in New York just absolutely desecrate 2 square blocks of New York City because some freaking TikToker offers up a free PS5. And they just have a riot, and they're burning cars and jumping. You've created a generation of apathetic lunatics. They have no sense of responsibility. They have no sense of community. They have no sense of anything other than, I want to be a thug and make lots of money. Because that's what we've been beating into kids' heads. We've also been beating into kids' heads throughout elementary school, high school, middle school, that it's more important to figure out and understand someone's pronouns than it is how to do algebra. You'll never use algebra in your life. Bullshit. You use algebra every day. You may not do x squared plus I to the third power equals y cubed, but you do some form of algebra. Also, algebra isn't just about math. It's about critical thinking skills. And when you think about kids that don't have critical thinking skills, 97% of high school graduates in 2023 cannot tell you names of 3 planets in our solar system.
Wait, there's planets in our solar system?
The only reason why they know now is because of Starfield.
Because of Starfield. The face tattoos. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that shit. Fucking face tattoos.
It just doesn't, it astounds me that they don't get the fact that this has been happening for decades. We've allowed kids to go to school and graduate with school with these pie in the sky ideas of what life is. And they get out of school and they're absolutely crushed because
20,000 kids were kicked out to make room for the new undocumented kids.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's more important, like propaganda, it's more important to be cool as an adult than it is to be an adult. There's got to be adults.
Holy
I'm
fuck.
sorry.
Wait. When is it cool to be an adult? I missed out. When is it cool to be? All I got was
that's the point.
Mailbox. There's just bills.
It's not cool to be an adult, but eventually you have to become one, or else you are going to struggle through life mightily.
I feel like somebody lied to me.
And it's, yeah. Chicago Unified School District. 60% of all graduating high school seniors were unable to perform math at higher than a 5th grade level. How is that even possible?
Right.
At almost more than half of your students literally don't understand any kind of advanced math.
Well, I got a calculator.
The problem with loans, they can jack the rates at any time, and it's the only loans in the world that even if you go, yeah, you cannot file bankruptcy with your student loans. There's no way to get out of your student loans at all. And you know who you can blame for that? Bill Clinton. That's Bill Clinton, and it's specifically Bill Clinton's fault because he was the one that pushed the Congress in the 90s to make that so. But it's also unfettered and what do you call that? There's been no oversight as to how much colleges charge
Schools
for
can
education.
Yeah.
Chico State University, pretty decent college in California, in the Humboldt area of California. It's like $32,000 a semester. My godson graduated last year with an engineering degree, which kudos to you, Logan. This kid is phenomenal. But yeah, his dad and his mom saved up, put a second mortgage out on their house so they could pay for their kid's education. He got no student loans. Mom and dad paid cash for this kid's education. 32 grand a semester.
Wow.
Engineering degree takes you 4 years to get a bachelor's in engineering. So that's 8 semesters. That's a staggering amount of money to pay to go to school. Now this kid, had he gotten student loans for that amount of money, he would have had to secure a job making at least 6 figures a year so that he would be able to afford to pay for rent and food and make his student loan payments. In the engineering field, when you first graduate from college, the best case scenario that you could get is to go to work for a defense contractor, which thankfully, that's what happened with Logan. Found him a nice little job. But you're only going to go in at probably 75, maybe 85K a year. That ain't 6 figures. Kids that graduate from college are struggling and starving because colleges simply charge too much money, because there hasn't been anybody in the government or anywhere that has bothered to look at state universities and say, hey, you can't charge a kid 32 grand a semester. You're out of your goddamn mind. Nobody can afford that. That's where the loan forgiveness came from, but that is.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, of course, when you're I remember that when you're 18 years old, they throw bank cards at you and all kinds of them. You can apply for credit, you're like, yeah, that's exactly. And of course,
you can be $20,000 or $30,000 in credit card debt when you graduate from high school.
The funny thing is I remember, having to balance the checkbook and everything, but they never explained credit to us. They never explained, credit was never explained to us at all.
Growing up, for me, credit cards were relatively few and far between. There wasn't that many. It wasn't until I was in my early 20s when credit cards became fairly prominent. And this, you can roll this all into the same conversation of the government keeps spending money they don't have, which keeps causing things to get more expensive. They keep driving inflation up, and that causes everything to get more expensive. Right now, gas, Tennessee, $3.60 a gallon. That's ridiculous. Shouldn't be that. It was $2.20 a gallon when I moved here, and it's been hanging at $3.60 almost. It was up to $4, almost $5 a gallon last year. But you think about how much gas prices affect everything. Every truck that drives, you got to put gas in it. Transporting of goods, everything goes in and that's just one thing. that if you keep the price of gas jacked up, which, hey, first day in office, what did Joe Biden do? Shut off the Keystone XL pipeline, which for the most part wasn't going to affect us necessarily that much as far as oil is concerned. It was more for Canada, but it was still tons of jobs, and it was still a certain percentage of that money that was going to be coming through that pipeline was going to go into the pockets of American government, because there's taxes and there's all kinds of that. He shut it down because, oil is bad. Right now, City Council of Chicago. So the City Council of Chicago just got a proposal for an commercial electric truck charging station to charge 30 commercial-sized electric trucks. This is the plan, because it's going to be like a truck stop. If you get rid of gas, truck's got to run on something, and it's going to be batteries. So you got to have some place for these guys to charge these batteries. And each one of these trucks has two 8-kilowatt batteries in them to run them. And it takes roughly, I think it's 18 kilowatts per hour to charge each one of these trucks. So when they proposed this to the city council, it ended up being something like 3 gigawatts of power is what's needed to run this charging station for commercial trucks. The city council of Chicago said, that's more power than our entire city uses. We don't even generate that much power. We can't. They literally told these people, this is a joke, right? You're joking. No, they're not. They're not joking. It's real.
We're going to plug it in, and it's not going to work.
The thing is just like California. California said by 2030, you're not going to be able to buy any petrol-powered vehicles. No new ones. You can keep your old ones. We'll still have gas stations, still be able to buy used ones, but there won't be any new ones sold. Right now, if half of the state of California converted from petrol-powered car to electric-powered car, they would have brownouts in every major city in California every 15 minutes, because the state of California can only generate 1/18 of the amount of electricity that it needs to charge the number of electric cars that they have right now. And they're talking about shutting down Devil's Canyon nuclear power plant, which is just above San Luis Obispo, which is a power plant that I believe generates like 18% of the state's entire electric power supply.
$27K. Oh my God. Five years ago, you bought a car. How much did it cost you? Now it's going to cost you another $27K, if you're lucky.
For new batteries. My stepmom was one of the first people to buy the second generation of Toyota Prius. She spent like $18,000 on it, had it for, 3 or 4 years, got in an accident with it. So they had to replace the batteries. Insurance company said, nah, junk it. It's not worth it. It costs more to replace the batteries in that Prius than it does for us to just hand you a check to go buy a new Prius.
Yep.
That's exactly what they did. Because the battery packs in the hybrid system for the Toyota Prius was like every 5 years you had to replace it, and it was like $8,500. Once you drive a car off the lot, it loses, 40% of its value. You got a $15,000 car, it loses 40% of its value, and it costs $8,500 to fix it. Hell, the day you drove it off the lot, the insurance company is like, nah, we're not replacing that. Trash it. Oh, by the way, those batteries with all that lithium and all of that getting dumped into landfills and everything, that's doing more harm to the environment than anything else on the planet right now. Yeah,
EVs are gay. I'll
they
say
are.
here's okay. So
the
here's
biggest
the thing.
lie. The biggest lie in our history is going to be the green movement.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, and what was it? Remember we talked about the C ratings, and the C ratings are kind of a myth.
Yep.
Everybody gets hyped up. I got 150 C batteries. I saw a post about that the other day, but yeah, man, it was just ridiculous. The thing about EV cars, though, I would like if we're actually you have all that horsepower immediately. Like if you're trying to build something to go to 0 to 60 or something, it'd be perfect. Other than that, no, it's a waste of time and money. It doesn't make any sense.
The trick is if you take your Tesla Model S and put it into ludicrous mode,
there you go,
100% charge, and you drag race it down a quarter-mile drag strip, you know how much battery power is left in that car after ludicrous mode? 27%.
There you go.
You use 73% of your battery power when you get that. So that would be, I fill up my gas tank and I do a quarter-mile drag race,
and we're done.
I have a quarter of a tank left after that.
We're done. Yeah, we go home.
Yeah, cobalt. The Shin, I forget the name of it. It's the mine in the Republic of Congo, where something like 70% of the world's cobalt comes from this mine. And on paper and publicly, this mine is 80% done with humanless mining. No artisan, a small 20% are artisan miners. Yet when you see videos of this mine, there is almost all of it is artisan miners. And there's kids, like 10-year-old kids out there with rock hammers digging for cobalt. And that is literally where almost all batteries come from. All batteries have cobalt in them. It's a necessary part. And yeah, we want to talk about green energy. We want to talk about everything becoming electric, but we don't want to talk about the fact that in order for us to have an all-electric world, we're going to have to dedicate about 30% of the world's population to slave labor.
You ever seen The Matrix? And half of us are going to have to live in pods just to produce the energy for the other half of us.
Think about movies that Hollywood's been making. Demolition Man, Hunger Games, Hunger Games. They had the Capitol where everybody's wearing goofy outfits and shit, and living like kings and queens, while the rest of the people are out living in the forest, eating deer shit and rats. And the people in the Capitol didn't give a shit. Matter of fact, they gave a shit so less that they actually shanghaied people out of each one of their peasant districts to come and compete in the game to kill one another for our entertainment. Demolition Man, people literally would rather live in the sewer than live on the surface and have to put up with all the bullshit assholes.
Dennis Leary was in that movie, by the way. Yeah. Who sung Asshole? I just want
to hear the part of why they want green energy. It is ultimately it's money.
Yeah, I'm sure it boils down to money.
It's
sounds like another 501c3 to me.
It's well, and I mean I keep talking to my wife and several of my friends about, we're living in one of the strangest times in history. We have access to more money right now than at all the time in history combined. We have access to more information than all the times in history combined. We have knowledge. We have expertise. We have the ability to do so much. Yet NASA, who has a budget of something like, $180 billion a year to study planets literally a bunch of smart people, launch fucking rockets into space, literally rocket scientists and whatnot. And for what? What the hell are we going to do with all this knowledge of outer space? Nothing. Nothing. That's literally not going to have any effect whatsoever on our lives right now. Possibly for generations to come, we're not going to be flying around out in space. We're just not. So why don't we take some of those smart people and use their talents a little more wisely? Like, hey, rocket scientist guy, how many of you fuckers do we need? Maybe 5 or 6 on the entire planet? Because, I mean, how many rockets are we launching every day? Not that many. So,
well, I mean, Elon Musk launches 1 or 2 every day, but I mean, he has people for that.
And that's private money. I don't care what you do with your private money. If you want to launch freaking Teslas into space, you do. Go now. I'm talking about the government. Take some of you NASA scientists and put you all in a fucking building and say, guess what? You guys are going to figure out the cure for cancer. And half the money that we spend and waste on stupid telescopes needs a fucking telescope out in space. Who gives a shit? I can see a fucking star that's 2,000 light years away.
Next thing you know, you're going to bring up Space Force One, aren't you?
No, because Space Force One, I believe, has a purpose in not necessarily outer space, but it has a purpose of cyber warfare and things like that. But I'm just talking about, we have a whole bunch of smart people.
Velcro, okay.
We have a bunch of smart people whose talents are wasted. Literally, your talent's being wasted. You could be doing something that could save humanity. Imagine if we took and put all of the effort and passion that all of these space dorks have, and we directed all of that towards finding the cure for cancer, finding the cure for arthritis, finding the cure for fibromyalgia.
Oh, God.
Finding the cure for migraine headaches, finding the cure for mental illness. Why do people go fucking crazy? You know what? Take a bunch of rocket scientists. If you could figure out how to launch a rocket in fucking space and land it back on the planet Earth without blowing up into pieces, you can fly back and forth to the moon or Mars, wherever. If you can figure that shit out, if you spend enough time, you could probably figure out cancer. Probably could. And why aren't you? There ain't no fucking money in it. Yeah.
Like this, I like what Green Frog said here earlier. I live in the sewer if they still had toilet paper instead of the 3 shells. And I just wanted to be like that.
They've asked everybody that was a part of that movie about the 3 shell thing, and nobody's ever been able to explain it. And it was like an inside gag in that movie. They put that in there to fuck with people. People are going to be asking, what the hell's up with the 3 shells? They're going to be asking about that forever, because everybody that watches the movie can be like, what do you do with the 3? Do you like dip it in the water? But there's shit water in there. Why are you going to, do you put the 3 sheet? Do you put the shell in the sink and then, but then it's going to have shit on it. Then what do you, do you flush the toilet and then you use the tank? How did the 3 seashells work? That still makes me crazy.
If you're in the sewer, though, those sound like Ninja Turtles. Oh, God.
Yeah, propaganda, you are probably right. They probably have had the cure for cancer for decades. There's just no money in curing things. There's only money in treating things. Hey, we're going to pump you full of a bunch of drugs. You're going to have to take 14 pills a day. But while you're taking those 14 pills a day until you die, it's going to marginally improve your quality of life. Marginally. Yeah, healthcare, the healthcare system The United States government makes $6.8 trillion almost every single year in taxes. And the United States federal deficit is $30 trillion. How do you overspend? overspend that much. 30 trillion. You know that the entire wealth of every person on the entire planet Earth only amounts to like $17 trillion. The United States government is deeper in debt than the amount of money that exists on the planet.
Yeah, weak, sickly people are easier to control.
Yep. Keep them dumb, keep them stupid, keep them weak. You have mass media that runs around and just spoon feeds people with bullshit every day, all day. Because you know what? You know it's more important than, stopping crime or making sure that people's pronouns are correct. Because if you don't address them properly, they might throw a tantrum.
Is that what it is?
Yes. It's common sense. You want to take care of yourself, eat well, and exercise, then never tell people that. Nope. That's why there are more McDonald's in the United States than every other country combined. You know what's even funnier? There are more Subways than there are McDonald's. Eat fresh.
Fuck you, Jared.
This piece of, this loaf of bread that we cooked 8 hours ago, and it's been sitting in the oven being lukewarm for that entire time. Oh, by the way, all these trays of raw meat that we have, or processed meat that we have here, that just sits here all day. Hey, you want to buy a tuna sandwich? Don't get one at 4 p.m. I can tell you that. Don't buy tuna at 4 p.m. from Subway, because that tuna's probably been in there since the day before and it's been sitting there the entire time. Unless you need a good colon cleanse. You need a good colon cleanse. Here's a perfect thing for you. I'm going to go out with the show with some friendly advice. If you're having some digestive problems, maybe you got noisy gut, you do this. On the weekend, Saturday morning, go to the grocery store, get yourself a package of Activia yogurt, a little 4-pack, okay? Then you run over to Subway and get yourself a tuna sandwich. Eat that tuna sandwich. Eat all 4 of those things of yogurt. Don't eat anything for the rest of the day. By Sunday morning, you will be shitting your brains out. You will think that you drank a barium for a colonoscopy exam. Because if anybody here has ever done a colonoscopy and drank the barium, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's a really shitty way to end this show. That's
literally. Hey, if you're out there eating Big Macs and Cokes and medium fries out there, chances are, if you've been doing that for most of your life, you're having some digestive problems. And every once in a while, you just gotta do a clean sweep. Gotta clean it all out. Get it clean. Start over from scratch. And if you really do it 2 days in a row, get up Sunday morning, run over to that grocery store, get that Activia, or you can just buy 2 packages of Activia on the first day, but you're going to have to go get that tuna sandwich. Get that tuna sandwich in you on the second day. You may drop 10 pounds.
Shit, that even happens in the RC world, RC propaganda.
They pay athletes to promote it. Yeah. I mean, shit. Look at fucking Harley.
Or if you're dumb, you pay them to promote.
Yeah, I mean, RC Driver, Scale Builders Guild, all these guys. How often do you see them all come out with a video on the same day of the same shit? Oh, FMS has got this awesome new 24 scale truck with this awesome 24 scale trailer. Man, this thing is so great. Look, it's got little LEDs in it and just hooks right up to it. And if you buy them together, they'll give you a stick to jam up your ass. It's awesome. Everybody should have one. Okay, I'll go get one. And they do it with everything: shoes, shirts, freaking wrist protectors for your wrist when you have carpal tunnel, working on computers all the time, everything, your phone. Anywho, that's going to do it. Another wonderful Wednesday. Thank you all for coming in here.
What happened? Was it a wonderful Wednesday?
You know what? It's we're all still alive, and we got a little, digestive tract advice from Dr. Rich, and it's a wonderful Wednesday. We're gonna ride out the rest of this week with smiles and joy and happiness, and everybody have a great weekend. We will be back next Wednesday. I will try to keep my workload a little bit less out of control.
Bring your clean colons.
Yeah, bring your clean colons, because next week we'll have some more colon cleanse tips for you. But that is going to do it. We will see you all next Wednesday. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great weekend. And we will see you next Wednesday. And now, of course, we end the show with that awkward period